by Stalin was to develop the Soviet Union's economy. Stalin knew that if Russia was to become a key player in the global supermarket, the country needed to industrialize rapidly and increase production. Therefore, the 5-year plan was based on establishing a change in industry, like the quotas on economic production, and a change in agriculture, where the government seized private farms, better known as collectivization. Launched in 1928 through 1932, there were many key points of growth, including coal from 36 million tons to 130 million tons, iron from 3 million tons to 15 million tons, steel from 3.6 million tons to 16.3 million tons, and oil from 2 million tons to 29 million tons.
Concentration camps were created in the Soviet Union shortly after the 1917 revolution, but the system grew in tremendous priorities during the course of Stalin's campaign to create the Soviet Union into a modern industrial power and the collection of agriculture. In early 1930s, Golan's camps existed via USSR, especially the most extremely dangerous regions in the country.
Stalin ordered into agricultural areas troops and the secret police, who took away what food they could find and simply left rural villages with them. Those who did not die of starvation were deported to the gulags. What happened was kept as a state secret within the USSR. This happened in Ukraine to the Kazakhs and anywhere where there was a large peasant population. This also occurred in Ukraine, North Caucasus, the Volga, in southern Russia, and Central Asia. Nothing had been put in place by the government to help out those it affected. In fact, on June 6th of 1932, Stalin ordered that there should be no deviation regarding his policies. In fact, it is acknowledged that over 10 million peasants died during this era.
The Great Purge, also known as the Great Terror, marks a period of extreme persecution and oppression in the Soviet Union during the late 1930s. While previous purges under Stalin involved the persecutions of kulaks, nutmen, clergymen, and former oppositionists, the Great Purge is characterized by imprisonments and executions not only of the usual suspects, but of communist leaders, party members, and members of the Red Army. The Great Purge instituted a new type of terror. Any stain on the record brought one under suspicion of the NKVD, the Soviet secret police. So-called enemies of the people were charged with treason, wrecking, and more. The Great Purge began with the assassination of Sergei Kirov, whose murder in 1935 is suspected to have been ordered by Stalin. Kirov, though a faithful communist, had a certain popularity in the party that threatened Stalin's consolidation of power. Hundreds of thousands were executed or died in Gulag during this period of oppression. In the summer of 1938, Nikolai Yezhov was released as head of the NKVD, but many in Gulag were not released until the end of Stalin's leadership. Joseph Stalin was a powerful communist leader in the early years of the Soviet Union. He was the director who was terrorized and population who sent many people to prison and labor camps. Before Joseph Stalin became a powerful communist leader, he joined the Marxist organization where he took part in the strikes and the violent attacks. During the period, Stalin was arrested and had to go to his prison many times. He was sent to the Soviet Siberia after he had created the party newspaper Pravda. Lenin was the leader of the communists during the Russian Revolution. He admired Stalin for his hard work and the party. From the beginning of their regime, the Bolsheviks relied on a strong secret or political police to strengthen their rule. The first secret police, called the Cheka, was established in December 1917 as a temporary institution to be abolished once Vladimir Lenin and the Bolsheviks had united their power. The original Cheka, headed by Felix Dranski, was empowered only to investigate counter-revolutionary crimes, but but it soon obtained powers of summary justice and began a campaign of terror against the property classes and enemies of Bolshevism. Here we see the head office of the NKVD, which looked like this before the revolution. Here's a close-up of the building in the 20s. Once the Civil War ended, the Cheka was disbanded. Its functions were transferred in 1922 to the State Political Directorate, or GPU, which was initially less powerful than its predecessor. Repression against the population lessened, but under party leader Joseph Stalin, the secret police again acquired vast penal powers, and in 1934 was renamed the People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs, or NKVD. No longer subject to party control or restricted by law, the NKVD became a direct instrument of Stalin for use against the party and the country during the Great Terror of the 1930s. The secret police remained the most powerful and feared Soviet institution throughout the Stalinist period. Although the post-Stalin secret police, or the KGB, no longer inflicted such large-scale purges, terror, and forced depopulation on the peoples of the Soviet Union, it continued to be used by the Kremlin leadership to subdue political and religious disagreement.
Created using Powtoon.